AMD's upcoming Radeon 3 based iGPUs are the ones AMD is supposedly trying to have on many platforms as possible. The reason is quite simple. These iGPUs are the most powerful integrated graphics AMD could have till now. Even the fastest desktop Ryzen APUs we currently have do not possess the capability equivalent to some of these iGPUs. Although we are still waiting for the company to launch dedicated APUs in the Ryzen 7000 lineup for the AM5 platform, it will be quite difficult to see that anything can compete with these iGPUs due to several reasons. One of the primary reasons is AMD's plan to equip multiple platforms with one of these iGPUs, namely the Radeon 780M. While this iGPU can only come up with the Zen 4 based Ryzen 7040 APUs, AMD is making sure to make this APU available to both gaming laptops and handheld consoles. In the recent tests, we are seeing that the 780M is able to perform as good as any solid budget graphics card. Even though the 7040 APUs still have a few days before the official launch, we already have the numbers you would like to look at. So make sure to subscribe to the channel to never miss any such updates in the future. Just 2 days ago, the YouTube channel ETA Prime got its hands on the Asus TUF A15 gaming laptop that features Ryzen 9 7940HS, which is the flagship 7040 APU with 8 cores and 16 threads, and features the Radeon 780M iGPU. When the APU was tested in 3D Mark Time Spy and Firestrike, it gave similar results to what we saw a few weeks ago. The 780M here was around 15% faster than the 680M, even though the latter was using a faster LPDDR5 memory. But gaming benchmarks were perhaps the most interesting part here. The 780M was easily able to score 60+ FPS on high settings on multiple AAA titles at 1080p resolution. Titles included CSGO, GTA 5, Forza Horizon 5, and even Cyberpunk 2077, which was also doing pretty fine on medium to low settings. Surprisingly, this level of performance was achieved without having the official GPU driver, which AMD will release when the APU is launched officially. So a good performance uplift can be expected later. Similarly, we have another recent leak where the new Radeon RX 7600S was spotted competing against the RTX 4060 laptop GPU. Unlike the 780M, the RX 7600S is a dedicated Radeon 3 based GPU made specifically for gaming laptops. It is significantly superior in both specs and performance, as we can see from the tests conducted by Computer Base. The laptop used was the Asus TUF Gaming A16 that featured the Zen 3 based Ryzen 7735H and the RX 7600S. In the tests, the 7600S was able to match the 4060 in 3D Mark Time Spy at around 80 watts, but as the 4060 can go up to 120 watts, the 4060 comes out to be a little faster with more power consumption. This is of course expected, but what is interesting to see is that the level of performance the RX 7600S is offering in gaming is as good as the RTX 4060. As tested in several titles that included intensive games like Cyberpunk, Doom Eternal, and many more, the 7600S was pretty close to the 4060 at the same power consumption. Turns out that on average it was just 6% slower than the 4060 while matching the performance of the RX 6800S from the previous generation. Of course, it was not able to compete with RTX 4060 in ray tracing, and according to Computer Base, the 7600S was held back due to 8GB VRAM because typically Radeon GPUs need more VRAM to compete with Nvidia GPUs. Now I am interested to see the performance of the other 3 Radeon GPUs that don't have the same power consumption cap and also feature better specs. The only thing now AMD needs to do is launch these laptops at significantly lower costs than Nvidia GPU based laptops. Even though the 7600S laptop reviewed by Computer Base was €100 cheaper than the cheapest RTX 4060 laptop, I believe that the price should be even lower considering how good the RTX 40 GPUs are in ray tracing. And lastly, if you have been following the updates related to Asus ROG Ally, we just got new info on the console that suggests that the company is working on 2 different models that will feature different specs. The one which was in the talks was the Zen 1 Extreme Edition, and the other one will be non-extreme model that will feature a slower Ryzen APU. Even though the APU will be same and will feature the same Zen 4 and Radeon 3 architectures, its CPU will have 6 cores and 12 threads compared to 8 cores and 16 threads on the Extreme Edition. The clock speeds are also reduced by up to 200 MHz, and even the iGPU, which is the Radeon 780M, is nerfed significantly. Recently, the non-extreme model was spotted on Geekbench, where it can be seen that the GPU here is featuring only 2 compute units. It should be kept in mind that Geekbench divides the total number of compute units by 2, so it means that the non-extreme edition will have 780M cut in less than half. This easily means that the non-extreme model won't be able to sustain great performance like the extreme model, and if it is priced at $650, which is the rumored pricing, it is already dead unless it is the price of the extreme model. It's expected that ROG Ally is planned to launch in the second half of this year, and the only thing we now need is official pricing of both models. Let me know what do you think about these models in the comments below. Hit the like button if you found the video informative and subscribe for more regular stories like this. Make sure to turn on the notifications to get notified every time I upload a video, and I will see you in the next one.